Hello everyone, my name is Rochelle Innocent and I'm the founder and CEO of Project Purpose. Welcome to our channel. Our community is focused on fostering the intellectual and character development in children. We do this through our parent-child workshops that are focused on 4 themes: autonomy, self-efficacy, compassion, and self-concept, in order to cultivate grit, perseverance, and resilience in each child. And we are so thrilled to be offering one of the first of its kind digital, virtual, and continuous learning environments, enabling parents and children to connect from all around the world. At Project Purpose, our overarching mandate is to renew and rebuild family, community, and relationships. Our different social media platforms provide us with an opportunity to have discussions and to create space for all topics that relate to family, community, and relationships with ourselves as well as with others, with a primary focus on mental health and education. More precisely, the ways that the institutions of mental health and education play a role and have played a role in our societies at large. These discussions and debates provide us with an opportunity to think critically about what needs to change within these structures for us to live up to our bold slogan: support, protect, and empower each child through youth-focused development, better known as leadership in juvenescence. We recognize that in valuing our children's leadership potential, this also translates as recreating and co-creating environments, both socially and politically, that will enable our children to thrive. For those of you who are particularly keen on the topic, we also write thought pieces every other Sunday. We actually just dropped a thought piece this past Sunday, so be sure to meander over to the website and check out our online content. Now, if it is the case that you are looking for a listening alternative, well, we are available on 12 different podcast platforms for your listening leisure, and we provided you with access to the links in the description down below. Now, as is the convention, be sure to subscribe, hit that post notification bell so that you are aware of every time you post. And of course, if you like these conversations and you want to keep them going, like, comment, and share this segment. Let's get into it. Allô les mecs et les mecs. Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another segment here on Project Purpose. For those of you who are new, we cover topics that relate to mental health, mental wellness, and education on a week-by-week basis. And today the topic of discussion is on education. And on the topic of education, I'm actually going to be doing a spin-off of the video that we dropped on Tuesday. I'll drop a link here if you want to check it out, where we talk a little bit about taking risks, becoming more comfortable with taking risks that come with being the decision maker that drives the path in your life. And I talk a lot about risks without first providing the foundational point of view on choice, right? So I think the first step really is to be very mindful of the fact that it is us who owns the choices that we make that drive our lives, though there are many people who would contest that because they like feeling like they have control over the choices of the people that they care about, right? And there are some people who are oriented that way. If they love you, they want to make the choices for you. They don't want to see you fall. They don't want to see you fail. And while that's all well and good, the best way of going about that isn't to remove the capacity for you to choose. In fact, the best way to enable success long term is to allow for choice. And that's regardless of what journey that choice takes us down. We need to also recognize and be very cognizant of the fact that choice gives us the opportunity to learn, to experience, and to also develop the capacity to think critically about the factors that play into the choices that we're making. And a lot of us don't know what to use, what to leverage by way of the appropriate assessment of the scope of the choice, because we haven't made too many of them. So we feel insecure about the choices that we make. We feel ill-equipped, and that's because we are. The best way to make good choices is to make bad choices first, and then to do a bit of an analysis, a bit of an assessment as to what made that choice the wrong choice, like what were your blind spots, what were the things that you didn't keep in mind. And with practice and with acumen, you start to develop the muscle to make better choices for you. And I think that it's really important that you recognize that though people in your circle love you, they can love you with all of their heart. The only person who can make the best and the right choices for you is you. And I think that no one is really saying it. A lot of us are offloading our choices to the people who have more maturity, who have more life experience, who have all of the investment in their pocket for our success. And I think it's well and good that you have people in your corner, but you can't allow your capacity to choose to be infringed upon by those who care about you. And I am a strong advocate for this. I think the moment that you have enough maturity to be autonomous, then you should exercise that autonomy so that you can be responsible, mindful, and intentional about the ways you leverage autonomy through the power of choice. We can't leverage or fully actualize the power inherent in our ability to choose if we're still novice choosers, if we still don't know how to choose with expertise, right? And I think the only way you can choose with expertise is by choosing a lot, choosing often, learning from those choices, and also being the one who carries the risk of your choices. And I think that it all sounds so risky, it all sounds so heavy, but it is for each of us to own. And I talked a little bit in my first video on Tuesday on the fact that we have this capacity of consciousness. Like, we are probabilistic automatons, which is really the way that cognitive neuroscientists speak to human behavior. I mean, we can say that we're predictable to an extent, but we deviate, and the power of deviation to move away from what instinctively we should be doing is the power of a consciousness, right? About thinking about the choices and the paths and the trajectories that are in front of us, and then thinking about our thinking on those choices of the paths, of the trajectories, and of the alternatives that are in front of us, and then making alternative choices and changing the game, changing the pattern of thinking from your generation moving on. That's what makes human beings so miraculous, so such a marvel, and such an interesting subject to study. But I think that if all of us are kind of in the box that we've been placed in, allowing other people to govern the choices that we make, or allowing fear and the analysis paralysis and imposter syndrome and all of these things that we allow to rob our ability and our freedom and our liberty to choose, I think that we really limit our capacity to actualize and to really see our own potential, our own power, and our own capacity to make change. And choice is the driver of change. And if you're not making choices, you're not driving the change that you need in your life. And so I wanted to come here and talk a little bit about that. I want you to think about your consciousness, about the power and the weight of your consciousness, and the power and the weight of your thoughts, of your beliefs, of your desires, of your thoughts about your thoughts, and the thoughts about your beliefs, and your thoughts about your desires, and how if you really anchored in on those, if you really took the time to really assess and extrapolate from what it is that you think, feel, and want, and bring that into the world without feeling the fear of disappointing or, moving away from tradition and norms or from your family structures, then you're going to really have the ability to harness your power. So I think that this is really the education that starts at home, really starting to value consciousness, value the capacity to think, choose, feel, believe, value our free will, and not allowing anything or anyone to infringe upon it. And that's really the heart and soul of Project Purpose. It's why we have the modules aligned to intellectual and character development, aligned to create this capacity to think critically. And in thinking critically, you are the owner, the leader of the life that you live and the spaces that you take up. So I wanted to come here and talk about it. I want you to reflect on your consciousness, on your power to choose, and how often or how little you're acting on that power, and how often you should be acting on that power now that you know better. Because when you know better, you do better. In any case, that was it for today. A little tidbit of wisdom from yours truly. Now, before letting you go, I would be remiss if I didn't let you know that we will be going live at least twice a month, every month for the foreseeable future on our Facebook page. So definitely be sure to tune in. These events are paid events, so if you do see yourself participating in our community on an ongoing basis, then I do suggest that you take a look at one of our package plans. Yes, so we do offer package plans over and above our live events, as well as access to webinars and workshops largely focused on self-mastery over and above these events. So definitely check it out. Be part of our game changer community, being part of the change that you want to see, allowing us a small role to play in your journey. We are on the road to 1K, so we invite you to follow us across all of our social media platforms, and we look forward to chatting with all of you very soon. We'll talk to you later.